Good morning, and welcome to your morning cereal. Okay, good morning and welcome to Tuesday. Well, I hope you're back to some normal spring weather today after some crazy weather systems over the last few days. And I gotta say, it's really nice to hear those birds out there chirping again. That really starts to feel like it's spring. I don't know, it also lightens the soul a little bit too. And it's also in line with the fact that today is National Draw a Bird Day. So there you have it. It's all lining up just perfectly. Well, it's also International Feng Shui Awareness Day. And Feng Shui is a traditional ancient Chinese practice that uses energy to harmonize people with their environment. Many people in Asia and the West believe Feng Shui improves wealth, life, happiness, and family. Improving any one or all of those is something I can definitely get on board with. I'm sure you can too. But here we go. I've saved the best for last. It's also National Pygmy Hippo Day. Now, if you know me well enough, you know I love hippos. Today is a day celebrated to raise awareness about the endangered species of hippos. And a pygmy hippo is the smaller cousin of a hippopotamus, and sadly, there are only about 2,000 pygmy hippos left in the world. So let's keep that in mind. Let's bring back the hippos, people, especially those little small pygmy ones. Well, moving on into our quote today, despite his untimely loss, Kurt Cobain had some really nice insights at times, and this being one of his quotes, quote, "I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I am not," end quote. So be yourself, find your authentic self, and be that unapologetically. Unless, of course, your authentic self is super obnoxious, then don't do that. Well, today's news, facts, and birthdays are for April 8th. And on this date in 1979, the final episode of All in the Family aired on CBS. Now, I know this was a very popular sitcom, but it was just slightly ahead of my time. So I'm just trusting the recommendation from those of you that have actually seen it. Then jumping all the way up to 1990, that's when the first episode of Twin Peaks premiered on ABC. Again, sorry, another show I haven't seen, so I'm going to take recommendations on that one too. Then, turning to 1994, on this day, this is when Kurt Cobain was found deceased in his home in Seattle. Then, lastly here, going all the way back to 2024, just over a year ago, actually, I guess it's exactly a year ago, that's when a total solar eclipse occurred across the United States and in Canada as well. It was North America's second total solar eclipse in 7 years. You remember seeing it? Did you go out into it? I definitely did. Well, I hope you did get out there and catch those, because if you didn't, you're going to have to wait for the next total solar eclipse, because it's not happening until August 23rd in 2044. All right. Well, happy birthday to you if today is your birthday. You share a birthday with actress Patricia Arquette. She's 57 today. And actress Robin Wright. She's from House of Cards and Forrest Gump. You would know her as Jenna, right? She's 59 today. Well, the number one song on this date back in 1988 was Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car by Billy Ocean. That song was Billy Ocean's third number one hit, and it was his final number one hit as well. Billy's other number ones were Caribbean Queen in 1984 and There'll Be Sad Songs, also in 1988. Okay, well, let's jump into the book review here. As you know, we're reading through Stephen R. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And in this first chapter, entitled Inside Out, Covey is discussing the differences between character traits, which focuses on character qualities like integrity, temperaments, patience, modesty, versus the personality ethic, which Covey believes is more persuasive in today's culture, and it teaches more superficial, kind of quick fix techniques. And Covey continues to hammer away at the important differences between character ethic and personality ethic in another subchapter entitled Primary and Secondary Greatness. And in this subchapter, Covey believes that personality ethic traits, which we as a society have been so focused on for the last 75 years, focusing on personal growth, right? communication skill training, and education in the field of influence strategies and positive thinking. They're all secondary traits, and he doesn't feel that they're the primary traits for success. Covey compares these secondary traits, these personality ethics, to cramming for a test in school, right? Sometimes you get by, but in doing so, you never actually achieve mastery in those subjects. Covey believes we have, quote, forgotten the foundation, end quote, of our own personal buildings, if you will. And speaking of focusing on character traits, quote, we have been reaping for so long, and we have forgotten the need to sow. Using that farming analogy again, you absolutely can't forget to plant in the spring, ignore the crop all summer, and then cram to harvest in the fall. Absolutely not. Quote, the price must be paid and the process followed. You always reap what you sow. There is no shortcut, end quote. And Covey does acknowledge that there are uses, right, for these secondary personality ethic traits. But he is making sure that the reader understands they aren't a strategy for long-term success. Perhaps they can be useful in one-shot, kind of short-lived human interactions to make favorable impressions, but they, quote, have no permanent worth in long-term relationships, end quote. Here, Covey quotes Emerson, and this quote struck me as I read it. Emerson said this, quote, what you are shouts so loudly in my ears, I cannot hear what you say, end quote. Covey then said, quote, what we are communicates far more eloquently than anything we say or do, end quote. Covey ends this subchapter with a quote from William George Jordan, who said this, quote, into the hands of every individual is given a marvelous power for good or evil, the silent, unconscious, unseen influence of his life. This is simply the constant radiation of what man really is, not what he pretends to be, end quote. That's some really great stuff. And I'm really looking forward to unpacking this even more tomorrow. So come back tomorrow for the next subchapter in Covey's book, which is called The Power of a Paradigm. Hey, thanks for joining us today, and have a fantastic day. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Morning Serial podcast on the One Life Live It channel. You can find more episodes and videos by visiting our YouTube channel and the website at Sean Inglis and at SeanInglis.com, where you can also follow our other podcasts, the Mr. and Mrs. Inglis podcast and the Life Happens podcast. In these other podcasts, we'll dive deeper into everyday issues, self-improvement and well-being, business and finance, and we welcome special guests too. So join us. It'll be a good time, I promise. Thanks again for listening. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you tomorrow.